6:17, and we will reconvene our regular meeting. Dr. Head, do you have any introductions or recognitions to be made tonight?
Yes, Jamie Swinnerton from the Houston Chronicle, and I saw Jamie, okay, and then Andrew Chrisman from Community Impact, I saw Andrew come in, so welcome.
All right. Helen, do we have any comments tonight?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am John Bergduff, representing the American Federation of Teachers. Every year, all Lone Star College employees complete the annual mandatory employee compliance training, a series of online classes that explain the importance of avoiding discrimination and hostile workplace practices, including those related to Title IX. One only has to look at the Me Too movement and the serial predatory practices of powerful men from Harvey Weinstein to Donald Trump to know that these issues are starkly real. Whether or not online training can dissuade an abuser from harassing and hostile practices, the rest of us need to know how to respond when we ourselves or our students or coworkers are threatened by men and women like these. Do we as employees of Lone Star College need the periodic reminders of our responsibilities that the annual training provides? Arguably, we do. Does college administration have a legal right to require us to participate in training like this? Absolutely, they do. Do they have a legal right to make this training a contractual obligation for employment? Certainly, they do. If any of us fail to meet the obligation of completing this training, does Lone Star College have a legal right to impose disciplinary action against us? Yes, they most certainly do. The union proposes that the administration should reconsider the form that disciplinary action takes. Currently, non-contractual employees who do not complete all the videos in the training by the due date are terminated. Contractual employees have their contracts non-renewed. All employees in both categories have a do not rehire or DNR notation put in their HR files, meaning that they will never be allowed to work within Lone Star again. Based on information obtained from the college under a Texas Public Information Act request, we have learned that 31 employees were terminated late in 2019 for not completing their annual training by the deadline. All 31 were part-time employees. For many part-time employees, pasting together a living with multiple part-time jobs, losing one of those jobs can be devastating. The DNR can be potentially even more devastating. When prospective future employers contact Lone Star College for references, the most common question asked is whether or not employees are eligible for rehire. The answer for those who did not finish their training on time will be that they are not. And that answer will potentially block employment opportunities for years to come, not only at Lone Star, but at other employers as well. We believe this penalty is too harsh. But what ought to be done with employees who do not finish their mandatory training on time? The answer already exists within college policy. Lone Star has a very explicit progressive discipline process involving first, second, and final warnings and corrective action plans for employees who fail to perform their duties in one way or another. A written warning with explicit instructions would certainly have been sufficient to persuade at least some of the non-compliant employees to finish their training within a few extra days. Only employees who persist in non-compliance after repeated warnings should be terminated. The college's existing progressive discipline process would be reasonable if implemented. It protects the interest of the college while respecting the due process rights of employees. The stated goal of the process is to help employees improve. Termination is reserved for those who refuse to improve. The process is used, or is supposed to be used, across the system for all types of employee infractions, large and small, except, it appears, for failure to complete the training videos on time. If, instead of termination and a DNR, failure to complete the training were to generate an immediate first warning in the progressive discipline process, AFT believes we could both salvage the employment of otherwise valuable workers and promote the culture of trust that the training is meant to encourage. We hope the administration will adopt and the board will endorse such a change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Okay, that's it, Helen? Okay, thank you. Board members, at this time, we need to get a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the February 6, 2020 workshop and regular meeting of the Board of Trustees and the February 21st, 2020 board retreat. Let me do the minutes of the February 6, 2020 workshop and regular meeting first. Can I have a motion? Yeah, second. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the minutes of the February 6, 2020 workshop and regular meeting. All those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I need a second motion to approve the minutes of the February 21, 2020 board retreat. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the minutes of our board retreat of February 21. All those in favor, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Abstain, okay. Thank you. Let the records show one abstention. Okay, Dr. Head, any special reports or announcements?
Yes, a couple. Let me start with what we're doing about the coronavirus. And Jamie and Andrew, we have more specific information when we get through, if you'd like it. And Helen, if you could provide them with the pamphlet and then maybe some of those emails we've sent. So a couple of things for everybody in the audience. We are aware of the, we're monitoring this very, very closely. So we've got a large number of people working on what to do with about contingency plans. And some of you that work here read the note I sent out today about we're doing a lot of what ifs. So how are we going to handle if there is a pandemic that impacts us and our community? We're reviewing such items as what we do if we closed, how we're going to finish the semester, what that means for contact hours with the coordinating board, how we're going to be paying people, if individuals are impacted, maybe teaching from online, how much time that they would take. We've already canceled international travel for our students, and we've got some other issues coming up about people that actually take international trips right now to some of the level 3 countries and how we're going to treat that when they come back. They already had planned. So I wanted the board has been updated over this, but I wanted everybody else to know that I'm very conscientious myself. I travel, I'm not traveling overseas right now, but I travel. So I'm like you, I have elderly, my mother-in-law, I've got small kids. Mario's not here tonight because he has the flu, by the way, not anything else. His son had the flu, and we wanted him to stay at home. So basically, we're trying to be conscientious with our employees and our students also. We met with the faculty senate presidents yesterday. And the message, and even with the presidents and the vice chancellor, the message is we're focused on our students first and our employees, and they're equal, right, in our minds. But so we want to make sure that we treat people with compassion, treat them like you'd like to be treated, and our students. So if we need to make accommodations for students because somebody gets sick, we don't want them coming to class if they're ill, but we need the faculty and others to help them if that's the case. Same thing with employees. So if somebody gets sick or their kids get sick, we will work with them over that. And so we have personal time, we have sick leave. In cases where there's mandatory quarantine, we will have put our employees on administrative leave and pay them. So we're trying not to get through all this like everybody else is. without any harm to our students or our employees. So, did I leave out any critical issues? I'm going to take that as a no, so, I
I think
mean,
Judge Andrew did a good job.
yeah, so, okay. So, if there's any more questions?
No.
Okay. So, a couple of other updates. So, we now have 327 applications for our bachelor's degrees. Yeah, we've got 120 for cybersecurity, 79 for the Bachelor of Applied Science in Energy Manufacturing and Trades Management, and 128 for nursing. We're oversubscribed. This is a nice problem to have. We'll figure this one out. And I'm very pleased with this. And Dwight and Valerie Jones, we got a number of people working on that to make sure that that goes smoothly.
If, you may have answered this, if all of those numbers are qualified to enroll, will we make provisions to take all of them, or will we?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Well, we can delay it to the next
No,
meeting.
no. Well, that's a good question. So for nursing, we're going to be restricted in the cohorts that we have, and that was part of the discussions we were having with some area universities and how we would go about our business. Now, what we can do is we would, and Dwight, for the nursing, are we going to be starting cohorts in the fall and then the spring, then a second cohort? So what's happening is I think we're going to accelerate our plans quicker than what we anticipated. This is a nice problem to have. We can handle that, like the expansion of the nursing program. For the other, I don't know right now. It depends on how many of those are actually qualified to come in. And so actually with what I'm seeing, what I would like is if we could house everybody that's qualified, then the answer would be yes, we have the resources to do that. This is a really good problem to have, a really good problem to have. A couple of other items we have. You received notification, but we'll have an official approval later, but I want to again publicly commend Dr. Wright and his staff for just doing a great job with the SACS visit. They were very complimentary about the idea and actually the implementation of College 9. That was a heck of a lot of work, and Dwight and his staff and Valerie Jones helped get everything together. There were a lot of people working on this, but they really were coming down, talking to Houston North about what you're doing, what you're trying to do. And I met with them a couple of times, but they got it. They want to use us. They said, you're going to be a model for the country. That's not why we did it, but I'm glad that they recognize that we're doing something different and we're trying to do something different. So I was very pleased with the whole group. They were, evidently, they don't every time receive a warm welcome when they come down for the, and I look at it as a big opportunity for us, a great opportunity for us to show them that we're trying to abide by SACS guidelines. And keep in mind that we have another SACS visit for bachelor's degrees in February, and then in October of 21, this is in 21, and then we have the 10-year reaffirmation, and that's a big one. Everybody will be, including you, Roger, will be involved in that. So they'll probably be asking you questions. So on Monday, we had a groundbreaking for the long-awaited LSC Kingwood Health Professions Center, where Chairman Smith and Trustee Sullivan provided marks, and thank you for taking the time to come out. And that's a 49,000 square foot building. It'll open in the fall of 2021 and allow us to expand our offerings in dental assisting, dental hygiene, nursing, occupational therapy, and respiratory care. So that's been a long process, and the hurricane was in the middle of it, so we will get it done. And just a reminder to the board that the Foundation's annual Star Gala will take place Saturday, April the 4th at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott. So they should be contacting you, Helen, if you would like to attend. So Saturday, April the 4th at the Marriott. And we're already off to a good start. Kyle and Nicole, I don't see Nicole here, but we're in good shape on the gala. So I think that's, I believe that's all I have.
Okay. Yep. All right, great. Faculty Senate President, Dr. Guillory.
Thank you for promoting me to doctor. I appreciate
Well,
it.
well, I did that only to obligate you to make it happen.
Okay, I can accept that.
All right.
All right, to Chancellor Head, to Chairman Smith, and to all of the board members, tonight I would like to offer an update on the faculty qualities of excellence. So just a little bit about the background. The faculty qualities of excellence that we produced here at Lone Star College were really initiated because of a visit to Valencia College to see a little bit about some of the wonderful things that they're doing there. And while representatives from Lone Star College were there, they saw something that really sparked their interest, and that had to do with establishing some benchmarks for excellence in teaching among faculty. So what the Valencia educators did was they created what they call competencies that really are the hallmark of excellence in teaching. And so representatives, again, that visited the campuses there looked at those competencies and brought back a rich idea, and that is that we at Lone Star College should define what excellence in teaching means to us, what an excellent faculty member is. When we looked at those competencies, a couple of things stood out to us. First of all, they defined excellence in very clear terms. They promoted something that we adhere to here at Lone Star College, and that is promoting continuous improvement. And finally, the most important of all of these is supporting student learning. So in the development process, those of us that were serving as Faculty Senate presidents received a charge from Dr. Smith to go forward with creating these faculty qualities of excellence with the mandate that they would be faculty-driven, faculty-owned, faculty-controlled, and that the process of furthering the mission associated with these faculty qualities of excellence would be always in the hands and the ownership of faculty. So in essence, through collaboration at the individual campuses, and also when we brought the larger group together in a college-wide effort, what was defined is what you see today, our faculty qualities of excellence that consist of a preamble and also 4 definitions of what it means to be an excellent faculty member here at Lone Star College. To promote faculty development in alignment with the faculty qualities of excellence, the Faculty Development Advisory Council, or FDAC, was created, and it consists of Associate Vice Chancellor, a VPI, also deans, faculty members, staff members, and also representative of both workforce and also the academic sides. We work very closely and collaboratively with organizational development, and as a consequence of that, we'll see that one of the first rollouts of faculty development associated with the qualities of excellence was our new faculty orientation for faculty across the system, across the college. And as a consequence of that, we rolled it out in the fall of 2019, and will be completing its first run this spring in April. In addition to college-wide new faculty orientation, some of the campuses individually use this prototype and this plan to base their new faculty orientation also on the qualities of excellence. And so you see here pictured in the top picture is a picture of orientation that was college-wide. In the bottom is a picture of orientation at Cy-Fair College. Also, based on the qualities of excellence, with the help of organizational development and the guidance of organizational development, there are opportunities across the campus for faculty development. One of the first of these that's based on the Faculty Qualities of Excellence is our very recent faculty symposium, which took place in April. To ensure that all faculty are aware of the opportunities to develop, to ensure that they move forward toward these benchmarks of excellence, the organizational development leadership team is conducting faculty excellence tours where they're sharing information and opportunities for faculty to have greater buy-in, not just new faculty, but our veteran faculty as well at each of the campuses. In addition to that, we also have some campus level activities related to the Faculty Qualities of Excellence in which our own presidents are providing their own perspective. And so the hope is that, again, that not only new faculty coming to the college for the first time to teach, but also veteran faculty will also see the value of the qualities of Faculty Qualities of Excellence and also take advantage of the opportunities for further professional development. So what's next? We want to see that the Faculty Qualities of Excellence will inform the hiring process, both to assist us in outlining exactly what we're looking for in terms of new faculty coming to be a part of the college, and also for those who are applying, seeking to apply for hiring at the campuses, would also know exactly what it is that is the definition of an excellent faculty that works and teaches and serves our students at Lone Star College. Another what next in regard to the Faculty Qualities of Excellence is further alignment with campus-based professional development that would be centered on each of the identifiers associated with the Faculty Qualities of Excellence. And our next major project is the development of a faculty evaluation tool with the same level of participation and contribution that faculty provided in the original development of the Faculty Qualities of Excellence. We want to see that same level of participation and contribution with the creation of a faculty evaluation tool that will be meaningful and provide guidelines for not only evaluating where a faculty is presently, but also guidelines for how they can move forward in their own personal professional development. And finally, the Faculty Excellence Awards will be revamped so that they reflect the same guidelines and the same perimeters established by the Faculty Qualities of Excellence. Thank you for your time.
Is it okay to ask questions?
Yes.
Not okay. Yeah. And I think I have the terms correct. You mentioned the qualities of excellence for good teaching.
Yes.
Will the teachers know when they have met those expectations?
Well, part of it will be, part of the evaluation process will be a reflection piece where whichever tool that we develop, the faculty will have the opportunity to sort of examine what they've done and what progress they've made, maybe base it on things that they're doing in the classroom, but also their service to the institution, as well as their participation or taking advantage of many of these professional development opportunities. So yes.
Can I make one comment? So I want to point out, we have I think, maybe the best relationship of any college that I'm aware of between the administration and the faculty senate, especially the leaders of it. So they're the drivers behind these kinds of changes. And I'm not aware of too many faculty, by the way, that take a look at this. Now, yeah, I know we went to Valencia and everything, but the president of Valencia used to work here, so we got a lot of his ideas from here. But I just can't, it's really encouraging working with them because they're driving this. And part of the question that he's asking is probably the next step over as we take a look at faculty evaluations, let the faculty senate. We're staying out of that. If somebody's going to get mad at somebody, I want it to be, they get mad at you.
Thank you.
Well, I think that, I mean, well, what we talk about is we're trying to attract and maintain and keep the very best faculty that we have, because we can do that. And I think having these expectations of the faculty ahead of time and knowing, and that's the way we post the jobs, we put, this is what we're looking for. And really at the core of all this, do you care about student success or not? I mean, and that manifests itself in different ways, but I think if we can hire the right people up front, then it's going to take care of a lot of things over the long term. But the faculty have been, just terrific to work for. We met, it seemed like about 6 hours yesterday, but I think it's like 2 hours or something. I don't know. It just seemed like a long time. But we kept extending the time, but then you made the other meeting, so the others were upset that because you ran into their time. But I mean, it's just a nice relationship we have, so we can talk and express things.
Oh, yeah, I think that's great. That's a great answer that we came up with.
I just want to say that this is my last time presenting as a Faculty Senate President. This is a great institution. As I've stated before, it's meant a lot to my family. All of my kids have attended. My mom graduated with her Associate of Nursing degree back in 1983, and as soon as I found a job here, and so I'm very grateful for that. And one of the things that I'm most proud of in terms of my work as a Faculty Senate President, and I think as a faculty member, is the faculty qualities of excellence. That we have this clear statement of what it means to be an excellent faculty member, and these benchmarks that all of us can measure ourselves by.
Yeah.
So thank you for the
Yeah,
opportunity.
great job. Could you do one other favor? Introduce all of it. I've heard all these good things about the faculty senate presidents and et
I
cetera.
don't know those people.
Well, introduce all of them so everybody in the public will know who they are, and get them to stand as you introduce them, if you don't mind.
So we have Roger Chambers.
He was the guy in the red jacket in that
Yeah,
picture.
he was really cool.
And we have Brandy Ford. We have Dave Gare. And Faye Lee. Donna Willingham, our boss. And Jano Houston.
Well, it's a great piece of work, and thank you for your dedication.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman, before you
Yes.
guys move on. Yeah. Could you come back to the screen, please? Would it be possible to back up to slide 13?
I don't know. That's a good question. Did I do something wrong? Go forward. Oh, okay. I can do this. I could do it faster too. Okay. You know, I really wanted this to be a very short presentation.
Or you can blame it all on me.
Okay. All right.
All right. So to the layman, what is the difference between a learning center, a resource center, an education service? What are the differences between each of these descriptions?
That's a very difficult question. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
So at each, I think it's, my answer would be, and I could be wrong, that it's reflective of the different cultures that we have at the different campuses. All of these entities do the same thing, provide professional development opportunities for full-time and part-time or adjunct faculty. And so it's just reflective of the culture and what each one of those entities name themselves.
Okay, sounds good. I just wanted to be sure that everyone at every campus had access to the same resources,
Yes.
regardless of what you call it. That's
Yes,
kind of what I was
and
getting at.
and the other thing with this is that just because I'm at North Harris or someone is at Houston North doesn't mean that they can't go to other of the campuses and take advantage of the professional development opportunities that are there.
Okay, perfect, good, thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Before you sit down, any other questions, comments, board
I
members?
have a question. Your evaluation matrix that you're developing, do you see that as being one for all or different ones for different disciplines? And
Well, when you look at the qualities of excellence themselves, they represent excellence in teaching. So excellence in teaching is something that's the same across the board, regardless of the discipline. And so it won't be that we'll be measuring a person based on whether or not they're a good or great algebra teacher or a great history teacher, but whether they are a great facilitator of learning and creating that positive learning environment for students. So that's in essence what we'll be measuring.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, there.
Okay. Thank you. Good job.
I can sit down now?
You can.
Good job.
Okay, board members, you now have the opportunity to talk about meetings and conferences that you have attended over the last month. So I'm going to start off with Trustee Sullivan.
Yes, sir. My only comment has to do with the groundbreaking, and I'll let you take the lead on that since you were there.
Oh, okay, all right. But I'll wait till last. You have anything you want to report on? Okay.
I guess we went to Washington and
Yes.
met with our legislators in February. They kind of, the bobbing head on the dashboard kind of thing. And I think we made points that community colleges are the best at what we do and in educating in those first 2 years. And we're going to show them that we're pretty good going beyond that, too.
I think, I don't know whether I told you or not, but Dr. Scott received a call from Kevin Brady's office. So we were going back to Washington for another visit and another conference, but they asked us to come by and give them more information on the short-term Pell, which is one of the, right now, there are not short-term Pels for certain workforce programs, and we've been advocating for that for some time. And it's basically a year-round Pell is what we're looking for. So some good did come out of that meeting. We're going back up to talk with them. They're very interested in this, so.
Wonderful. Trustee Saldivar.
I just want to add that visiting with the congressmen and women, one of the things that we got from it was how they knew about Lone Star, the positive things about Lone Star. Sometimes we didn't even have to discuss, who we were. So I think that sends a really good message about the work that you guys are doing and you guys are doing to make sure that we go out there and we advocate for the college. So thank you, everybody.
Trustee Good.
I didn't attend any meetings or go on any trips. I was bringing down a barn.
Yes, well, good. Trustee Milford.
Yeah, and just to also add to mention the trip to D.C., to Washington, D.C., I want to commend Jesse Ayala and Kyle. Thank you so much. Good work. It's always, like you mentioned, it's always good to know that when you go out there, they do think well of our institution. And I guess I'll commend the chancellor and the fact that, this is already, it's 4 years, 4 times I go, and just this continuity, and there's a message that's clear. We always try to make sure that our Congress people who we sit with and talk to understand where we come from, where our concerns are, and to know that we have a clear message and clear focus always makes us look really good. So also want to commend you. Thank you.
Okay.
Didn't get a chance to go to DC, but did my normal thing, community meetings and mentoring. That's it.
Doesn't matter.
Thank you, and I'll go last. One of the things I was hoping the chancellor would have mentioned this when he was talking, but I found out through the grapevine that the AACC selected him to be a conference speaker, and AACC is a national organization. and they're asking him, he's frowning at me, I don't know if I should continue or not, but I will. And they were asking him to develop a speech or a training session to whereby he would help them develop positive board CEO relations. And there's a whole outline of things that they want him to do. And if you don't know yet, one of the things I enjoy doing more than anything else is bragging on people. So when you get a national organization to ask one of your people to come talk to the whole nation about a particular subject, that is saying to me that we are doing something right. So I don't know how old you are, Chancellor Head, but keep on doing what you're doing because you're getting positive remarks for that, and I really appreciate that.
I'm old enough to be worried about coronavirus. Let me put it that way. How's that?
Well, yeah, I am too. Also, I was hoping that Trustee Saldivar would have mentioned an award that she's getting on March 14th. And she has been selected as a rising star. And I was very happy to find out about that. I guess you say, well, how do you find out about all that stuff? I'm not going to tell you. And but the chancellor, trustees are also being recognized, and that's good. A couple other things I want to mention. I'm not going to mention the foundation meetings that I've attended, but I went to 2 of those during this past month. And on February the 27th, over in East Aldine, there is a P-Tech early college. And I was asked, and I can't figure out why, but I was asked to come over and talk to the students. And so that was on the 27th at 2 o'clock. And I think it went from 2 o'clock to 4:30. And politicians were there. And when they found out that I was from Lone Star, they said, we like that place. And everybody said the same thing. It's the most innovative institution that they have ever seen. So the credit goes to all of you guys, the faculty, senate, and everybody in here, that have made Lone Star, a superstar. And all of the parents there spoke very, very highly of that P-Tech school and things that Lone Star is doing to make sure education is made available to everybody, regardless of zip code. The thing that I don't like doing, when I make commitments, I like to follow through. So I knew when I left East Aldine that I had 1 hour to get to the Galleria for another Lone Star function. And I used my navigational system. And it told me to go in a direction that I'd never heard of. And I said, well, since there was a pipe burst, I better follow instructions. All of a sudden, my navigational system stopped working. My truck's old, and I didn't have a battery charger for my phone. And I didn't know where I was. By the time I found out, and the sun wasn't shining, I'm looking to see where the sun is so I can tell what's east or west. And I said, boy, it's a Puente? What is a Puente? I was supposed to be able to, and I never missed. I said, I'm going somewhere, you can set your clock by it. And about an hour and a half later, I said, there's no way I'm going to make it. I don't even know where I am yet. All of my telephone numbers are in my phone. I didn't know how to call anybody, couldn't even call home. So when I got to the Galleria, I was supposed to have been there at 6. It was like 7:45.
Should have called for a silver alert.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah.
Good one.
So
They've probably done it on him before.
So I apologize to the folks at Houston North for missing such a great opportunity, and I hope you give me a chance next year to do the same thing. And I would have called if I could have, but I couldn't have. Okay, I wasn't able to do it. That's a long story, but that's the fact. Okay. Trustee Sullivan and I participated in the Kingwood groundbreaking of the health building. That was well attended, well planned. The president and her staff did a great job of making sure the program was worthwhile and well received by the public, and I enjoyed it, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to do that. Last night, I had an opportunity to go to Houston North Victory Campus, and there were a group of experts there talking about esports. And I'm not technologically where I should be, and I found out that I practice esport all the time when I play cards by myself on the computer. And so esports, when I was over at Kingwood, there were young folks telling me about all of these esport tournaments that they are watching on Twitch. I didn't know what that was either. And how great that was, and et cetera. And I'm not surprised that Houston North and the Lone Star folks are already looking at what career opportunities are available for our folks in that particular avenue. And that is showing that we are being real proactive, not only in the existing programs, but looking for other opportunities for our people. And I thank you all, for doing that. And I thank you for inviting me to that particular activity. And I think I covered everything.
Just as a follow-up on that, I
Okay.
think University Park is putting together a team, and I think Houston North and, I think probably the rest of them are going to. I also found out, so one of the games they play, this is crazy. You'd have to see this thing. We'll have a presentation on it, but it's Fortnite. And so Fortnite's it's a video game. There's all kind of games, football, you name it, they've got it. If you're interested, if you want to be a professional, you can make some really good money, like over $100,000, right? And so colleges are creating programs over this, and we all know somebody like this that's really smart, who's kind of an underachiever in school, but they want to do gaming up until 2 o'clock at night. We've got a couple of nephews that way, and but there's a pathway for them now. This is really interesting. So I sent my son a note. My grandson, every time I go over there, he's got headphones on and he's like agitated and he's talking to people. Well, he's playing Fortnite. I didn't tell you that. I told my son, I think I know his future is, I mean, some of them make 300 and 350, they're professionals.
Yeah.
It's
big time.
the George R. Brown is packed with people watching. You see it it's on ESPN a lot. I'll quit changing the channel when I see it, because now I realize there's something there, something that we're probably interested in. So Dr. Blanton was there, and Dr. Wright, it's pretty impressive. We'll have a presentation just so you can see, because you think, well, we don't want to be doing that. However we can engage our students, it's actually part of a business curriculum, maybe a business degree curriculum. And it just kind of puts them on a different pathways, everything from sports management to, there's all kinds of opportunities tied in with that. You don't have to be a gamer, but design is part of it, programming is part of it, coding is part of it. It's pretty, but it appeals to a certain kind of person, and we all know people like that. We all know young people like that, so.
I used to play Centipede and Pac-Man. That doesn't count?
I mean, that's the origin of it, really. I mean, yeah, that's
But
exactly
I
what it
know when I was first told about it, my first impression was, you got to be kidding. But I said, I'm going anyway, and I'm completely changed as a result of that. So I'm glad you guys are not tuning stuff out that's not part of your culture.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this point, we are at the consent agenda category. Board members, there are 34 consent items on the list this time. Are there any items that you would like to have considered separately?
I have some.
Okay.
18, 20,
Hold a
21.
hold a minute. 18, 20, and 21,
And 26.
and 26. Okay. Okay, any others? Okay.
And you
Huh?
have 13,
Yeah, I'm getting ready to say that now. And I am going to consider separately 13, 14, and 15. But for the time being, what we'll do is I'd like to have a motion to approve You said 17? Oh, but, well, I got 17 already. Okay, I did 13, 14, 15, and then other folks did 17, 18.
He did 18.
Was 17 one of them?
No.
I'm sorry.
18.
Okay, 18, 20, 21, 26. Correct? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to have a motion and a second for items 1 through 12, 16, 17,
No, not
16, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 27 through 34.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we adopt those items. All of those in favor vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Ms. CFO, would you like to come up and, we're not going to do a motion yet on items 13, 14, and 15 because they're tied together. Would you come and talk to us about 13, 14, and 15?
Yes, thank you. I just want to quickly talk through how these three items work. First, if the board could consider action item 13, and then what will happen is if that item, so for action items 14 and 15, the intent is not to consider both of them, but only one or the other, depending on the action taken on number 13. So if number 13 is approved by the board, then action item 14 should be pulled and not considered, and only consider action item 15. And then if 13 is not approved, then it's the reverse. And the reason is the Chancellor's recommendation in action items 14 and 15 on tuition are both dependent on whether 13 is approved or not. So 14 is what the recommendation is, were action item 13 to not be approved, whereas action item 15 is the recommendation if it is approved.
So this
I
is
hope
what
that
we
makes
talked
sense.
about at our retreat.
Yes.
So if the changes are approved, we go one way. If not, we go the other way. So,
Correct.
Correct.
okay.
And what if neither of them are approved?
No, in terms of which ones you consider, 14 and 15. So I'm just walking through whether 14 or 15 is the one considered. So yes, that both 14 and 15 are separate actions that the board can approve or not approve. What I'm saying in terms of which item gets considered by the board changes depending on whether 13 is approved, is what I'm trying to explain.
So we need some guidance because the schedule, the registration starts for tuition purposes. That's why we bring these to the board this time of the year. So.
Right, so action item 13 is a recommendation to simplify tuition and fees. And so action item 15 is a subsequent recommendation if that is done, if those are simplified. So 14 and 15 are essentially the same recommendation, just structured differently depending on whether tuition and fees is
So we're
simplified in
recommending
13
approval
or not.
13 and 15. We're recommending approval of 13 and 15.
Yes.
That's what we discussed at the retreat. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
That's it.
All right, good. I'd like to have our motion to approve item number 13.
So moved.
Second. Okay. It's been properly moved and second that we adopt item 13. All those in favor,
But
vote.
can we have discussion first?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
Thank you. Do you have anything to
No,
add?
go ahead.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm voting on the right thing.
Okay.
And this was presented to us at the board workshop.
Yes.
This is to simplify
Yes.
the tuition so
Tuition,
that
right.
parents like me can understand their bill
Correct.
when they come in the mail.
Correct.
And I not have a list 1, 2, 3 pages long with fees and lab fees and on and on and on. However, as a footnote, there may be some courses that have a lab fee.
Yes. Are fees, that, yeah, some that don't fit into the normal, yeah, certain classes have other fees attached to them.
But the
So-
goal is simplification
Right.
and standardization.
By rolling what had been fees into the tuition.
Right.
Correct.
Sir, great.
With, it's revenue neutral, so just making sure of that. So we're not asking for additional money on that. Although, keep in mind, in the proposal for the tuition, we had the 8% increase that we had been talking about, that we take care of every year, so. That answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of action item 13, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, approved. So now item 14 will be pulled. At this point, we need a motion on item 15 and a second.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we adopt and approve at least item 15, or any discussion or questions? Yes.
Could you do a little simplification, explanation on this so that we tie it to 13 being approved?
So the way it's going to be presented to the students is there'll be primarily tuition. You'll get a simplified schedule, or a simplified bill, let's put it that way. And most of the fees have been rolled up. We're just eliminating a lot of the fees, like the parking fee, for example, and the registration fee. There's a series of fees we're just eliminating and making those part of the tuition. So when we're calling it simplified tuition fee schedule, there are some outliers that we just couldn't, maybe if you're in nursing, for example, that not every student, most of these fees that we combine, all students were paying them. It's the ones that, again, specialized programs where there may be fees attached to that. We think it'll make life a lot easier for students and parents. And it had gotten really confusing. If you're taking a look at it, we eliminated the distance learning fee because the cost it's just part of us doing business right now. And we have so many students that we don't need an extra fee for distance learning. We have it wrapped into our operating budget. So we think it's going to make life a lot easier for students, parents, and our own internal operations. So,
Good.
but
Just a
it's,
final
again,
question.
revenue neutral. So.
Okay. And final question, if I may. So this is 2021. This gives you time to print the information so that students and everyone knows for the fall semester?
They will. Once we approve this, then it goes up. I mean, I'm looking at you, right? It goes up immediately, or Link, whoever's doing it'll go up tomorrow when we do it for the registration. I'm looking at
All the updates occur before fall registration opens April 1st.
April 1st, yeah. So,
Very good. Good. Thank y'all. Great work.
Okay.
Thanks.
We didn't vote on this. No, we didn't vote. Okay, that was a question, yeah. All of those, any other questions or comments on item 15? Okay, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Action item 18. 17, I mean, I'm sorry.
So that is, I just want to make sure that the board was aware of that. So that you're approving the credit tuition for the bachelor's degree. And what I wanted to point out is the fees for the bachelor's degrees are the same, by law, they're the same as our regular fees for students. And so the way we're going to be marketing some of this, you would be able to get a bachelor's degree. This would be tuition, fees, and books for, we believe, less than $20,000, and we're getting the cost. And Trustee Sullivan, we went back, so we're, for tuition, just for tuition fees and books, you'll be able to get a bachelor's degrees in those three fields for less than $20,000 in today's money, which is a terrific bargain. It really is, and it's a quality education, so.
Great job, thank you. Now you, Dave. Item 8.
Or are you going to vote on
18?
We need approval
Yeah,
for that.
we need approval, I'm sorry. Okay, all those in favor of action item 17, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion adopted. Item 18.
This is an RFP, and it had to do with the rubric. It has the rubric they used in, let me see. I don't have a page number on here, but it's the last, or second to the last one at the bottom, other relevant factors. Can anybody tell me what other relevant factors are?
You know what you're talking about? Down at the bottom on the grid that we have? And I'm really looking, yes, Kyle Scott's name is on there, but it's handled through purchasing, right?
Services.
Yeah, I mean, so that is a typical category that we have in our procurement evaluations on the proposals. There's the specific categories that are scored, and then there is just anything else. That is sort of a catch-all area for people to score. So it's part of our standard scoring criteria.
But all the other scoring criteria were identified more specifically. It's the only time I've seen other relevant factors.
I mean, that's not an uncommon category for us to use, just to pick up anything miscellaneous in proposals that do need to be scored into and factored into consideration.
Would it help if we got you a list of what some of those might be? Some of the, would it help if we gave you provided you a list of some of those items that might be considered?
It just seemed like it was kind of a slush thing in there and it seemed to make a difference in the scoring. And if it's not very well defined, I don't know how.
I mean, so similarly, in other ones, I think we just phrase it differently. Sometimes it says just sort of other enhanced services. So it's the same type of category
Okay.
for scoring, so.
I think in this particular case, so everybody in the gray area in my book, they're under consideration we can use those as part of our printing services, all those groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only one that's, the factoring in this particular case, because of the way the pointing was, it didn't, if you see that on that last chart over there, it didn't make any difference in the scoring, the way we did the scoring. I mean, they wouldn't have qualified anyway.
Okay,
Under
so, yeah, I know, but so all of these, a campus can pick
Yeah.
any one of them, and location could be the,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
All right.
So we'll get you a list of, we'll get you a list of relevant factors, and maybe, Jennifer, we can talk about defining what that actually means.
Motion, yeah, I did. Okay.
Okay.
Good. All right, well, I didn't do a motion, so let's do a motion for item 18, Dave.
So moved.
Second, okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
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 Okay, item 20, need a motion. That's yours too, Dave.
On 20, so moved.
Second, okay. It's been moved and properly second that we consider item 20.
Actually,
State your
20,
question.
20 and 21 is together. The first 20 is a general services for the campuses. And in that, it reflects one of the services as janitorial, and 21 is a much bigger contract just for janitorial. I'm kind of confused there.
Different locations. I guess that's the difference is they're in different locations. The larger janitorial services does not cover all of our locations, whereas 20, so that's not covered at the location that would be covered by 20.
Okay, so there's,
So there's no overlap at different locations, it's just that one location is covered by some of our very areas.
by the
listed.
general services contracts.
Right.
Okay,
So it's just a different locations that's covered.
okay. So we're spending north of 16 million on janitorial?
So action item 20 is a larger facilities management program where they cover janitorial plus other things. This is in this case at the Transportation Institute. Versus at 21, not all of our locations use a full facilities management program. Some of those services are done in-house. So in those areas, they just need a janitorial contract.
Okay.
Okay.
But, so the janitorial, still in janitorial, we're spending over 16 million?
Over a 5-year period.
Okay.
How many square feet do we have now? 5 million plus altogether?
In total, we have about 5 million, 5 million square feet, 7 million parking garages.
We're authorizing $16 million, and the recommended contractor's bid is $12.5 million.
I'd have to go back and check on that.
You see what he's talking about?
I
Okay.
did see that.
Do we,
I can see if you go into negotiation with your first choice, but you get to 16 million by the time you got to the fourth choice, going down. If that's the not to exceed number, is if that's why you got that,
Yeah,
I can understand
there
that.
is the statement too, that if for some reason negotiations cease, we
Right.
have to move on to the next scores.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not to exceed, so, yeah, the 16 million is not necessarily what the final contract will be.
Right. Okay.
So,
All right.
so you're okay with proceeding?
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Yeah,
we'll
I mean,
come
if
back.
that
and-
was the rationale.
Okay, so we'll come back and clarify that to make sure, okay.
Yeah, and he said he's happy, so we can go ahead and vote on it.
Okay.
Approve it. Any other questions on item 20? If not, all those in favor of item 20, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we need to do 20, we need a motion for item 21. Second?
Second.
Okay. And it's the same
thought
same kind of question, you happy with?
Same question, yeah.
Okay, so we have to adopt it then. Okay, all those in favor, any other comments on item 20, 21, I mean? If not, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign on item 21. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item 26, you still on?
26,
Yeah, give me a motion for 26.
motion.
It's been moved and properly seconded, we consider item 26.
Same thing, not to exceed amount of 2.5 million, and the bids are one's at 1.8 and the other's at 1.2 about.
Okay,
So on that item, the bigger item we have with it is, it's negotiate and execute from the top on the point score downward. And then the issue of what the implementation cost and over 5 years. So again, we're over a 5-year period for the execution of the contract. So when we have to finalize the contract, then we got the exact allocation for that.
what he's asking about is in the narrative, it has a price, and then where you do the points, it's got another price.
Correct.
So what's the,
The score on the selection by functionality is higher, and then the price offset is, there's a difference in price that's significant. And so the difference is the one that was selected based on the capability to do it is a higher score, and the price offset didn't have enough to offset that difference. So that's why it's negotiate to execute the first one, working our way down.
so why do we have 2.5?
Yeah.
That's the question. Why do we,
5 over 5 years.
2.5 over 5 years?
And
Okay.
So
all
are
the
the-
other numbers are over 5 years also. But they're still,
Top cap is 2.4.
the top,
But Lincoln, the price, what he's asking for, the price says 1.7, right, in the grid.
It's not missing the initial implementation cost on the score grid for the.
Okay.
That's what's missing.
So the grid is not correct?
The grid is the price of the software and maintenance and support. It does not include any implementation.
Okay. I think maybe it'd be
So
helpful if we
we're
clarify
seeing a
that.
grid that doesn't reflect the total cost of the contract, and we're being asked to approve a contract with a not-to-exceed price of $2.5 million, which is considerably higher than the highest price we're seeing on the grid. Is that correct?
So the difference is that the price up here is the software itself, and then you see the other categories for long-term costs. That's the category that we use to factor in a whole life cycle cost of something, which is implementation and the annual amount.
I mean, I can really see David's question here. We're being asked to approve not to exceed at an amount that's considerably higher than any of the amounts we see here, which we think are the bid prices for the whole project. Is that correct, David? Is that what you're thinking?
yeah, so you're saying that there's something in the total work that's not reflected in the bids, so we don't know how that figures into who's the best provider.
Can you bring this back?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we'll come back
but-
with,
We'll pull that one.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Well, we'll just pull it. We'll pull.
I don't know which would be better, pulling it or withdraw the motion.
And you
I
can
don't be
withdraw
on-
the
I don't want to be
motion.
on record.
Okay, all right. You withdraw the motion? Second, okay. It's been moved and seconded.
I think
we
going
withdraw
forward,
the
though, we'll
motion.
clarify on all of them
6.
what the price is and then what the implementation, I think the bid needs to reflect.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
There's a mo,
Timeline? For Link, is there any importance on timeline? 30 days.
So the CRM would be,
Completely focused on our recruitment cycle, especially for this fall.
but we were going to be, I mean, so a month, I mean,
14 to 16 week implementation process, and then contract process, that's another 30.
we'll make it work. Trustee Sullivan, April, May, June, July. Yeah, we'll make it work. It needs to be right for the board, so, okay.
okay, well, we have a motion on the floor to pull it.
I thought he pulled his
Wait, wait.
He just withdrew it.
Withdrew it, uh-huh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
We don't need to vote on it? Okay, all right. Okay. Thank you. Financial report.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean,
Let's see.
yeah, we're fine.
What kind of question you mentioned before tonight? Those kind of questions should be mentioned.
Jennifer. Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right. Here we go with the financial report, which is in your materials, and then the presentation here is the summary of the financial report. So these are the financial statements presented for ending January 31st, 2020. First, you can see for our revenues, at that point in time, we collected $290 million in actual revenues, which is 74%. And you can see this is trending slightly higher than what we've seen in prior years, which I like to see, because if you remember last year, at the by the end, we did fall short of our budgeted revenues. So this, I think bodes well for hopefully hitting the budgeted revenues. And then next is on expenditures. Here, as of January 31st, 2020, we had $144 million in actual expenditures, or 38%, which is relatively similar to prior years. Honestly, in future presentations, I'm thinking about just simply taking out the 2017 and 18 year, because it's always going to be an anomaly, and I think it just kind of skews what the visual looks like, since that year was Hurricane Harvey. But we are at 38% of expenditures as of January 31st of our budget. So currently, given all of that, we are forecasting to end the year at about 16.6% of cash reserves, which would be $63.1 million. This is compared to the budget that the board approved in August was for us to end the year at 16%. So we are showing, as I had mentioned in prior months, though, that revenues at $1.2 million below budget, and this was due to lower than expected enrollment in the fall, which we then did, you can see on the following slide, offset with budget reductions to offset that amount from the fall.
So board, when we don't make our numbers, we talked about this before, when we don't hit our enrollment projections, then we reduce our budget. So we're not going over the budget, we reduce the budget.
And so for the spring term, actually, we did not hit the number, but just barely. We had 2.3% growth instead of 2.5%. And at this point, the impact seemed, one, it seemed relatively small, and two, we knew we still had some additional terms that start later in the semester, as well as 8-week courses that would come later. So we decided to just kind of take a wait and see approach on the impact of the spring term, since it missed it by just a narrow amount. So that we'll look at really once we start getting into summer. Now looking at our Fund 35 Harvey Recovery Fund, that is at $51.4 million in expenditures, up from $50.3 million in December's report. Of this, $46.6 million is for Kingwood, up from $45.6 million. So the first one, that just didn't get updated. They both should say from the February report. This is an update on our reimbursements, which has not changed from last month. We still stand at $9.5 million in reimbursements from FEMA. This is our reimbursement update by stage. I think in future reports, we are going to look at how we report these stages to try to get perhaps a little bit more detailed with it, because within this, there has not been a lot of progress. We have seen some progress within some of these phases. So there is some movement, just it hasn't been enough for a project to move into the next phase yet. But so we are still working towards, it's a total of $54 million that has been submitted, of which we have about $35 million still working through for hopeful reimbursement at some point. And that concludes my report. You also have the facilities and grounds report in your packet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions, board members? Okay. If not, are there any future agenda items that you would like to have considered? I have yours already.
Huh?
I said I have yours already.
Okay.
Yeah. Any future agenda items? If not, it is 7:32. The meeting is adjourned. You can stay if you would like.